It's time for another Slayer update. I'm in Act 3 Epic, almost at the end of Act 3. Let's take a look at skill points. In Warfare, I've got almost my whole Onslaught tree filled out now, and I am +4 skills. So I got the bottom two parts of it are completely filled out, and a few more to go on the rest of it. Battle Standard I've been bringing up. It's still not quite maxed out yet, but it's at a point where it's very effective at where it is now. Dodge attack, I'm at 25% to dodge. I can still put a couple more points there. I just left the 1 point in this Battle Rage. I'm getting the 33% offensive ability when it triggers. At some point, I'd probably throw a point in the other two parts of it, but they're really not critical. Only 1 point in Ancestral Horn. I'm at 5 because of the plus skills. Now, Warwind and Lacerate at this point can hit 7 targets, and it does really good damage. So there's still some more points that can go there. The only thing is it has an 8-second cooldown, so you can't use it all that often. It'd be nice, to get some minus cooldown gear. If you could cut that in half, even if you take a couple seconds off of it, it'd be more useful. But really good damage on it. Over in hunting, I'm nearly maxed out here. Study Prey is maxed out. I can still put 2 more points in Flush Out, but it's very noticeable now when this is applied before you attack, because the monster's resistances are higher in Epic. So it's a big difference when you put that on first. I'm still just running the 1 point in Call of the Hunt. I think I still just only put 1 point in this part too, but I have some kind of exploit weakness, increased skill item or something. I still only have the 1 point in Takedown. At some point I'll add to that. Volley, I have a couple of points. The more points, the more times it'll be used. I threw 1 point in Gouge to get some bleeding damage. It's only a 14% chance, and the main reason I took that is when you get those annoying monsters that like to run away when you hit them. So if you hit them once and that triggers, chances are the bleeding's going to kill them, and so you don't have to go chasing after them. So now and then that helps. This tree here, Art of the Hunt, I still have a ways to go, but this gives you some nice damage boosts. This part of it I maxed out because I wanted the 35% chance to avoid projectiles. So now you're dodging like 1 in every 3 arrows, so that's pretty helpful. This is going to be some really strong archers coming up. This one here, just the 1 point. I want their 100% reduced entrapment, and the movement speed is useful, but you don't really need to put more points in it for that extra run speed. You can get run speed from other places too. I maxed out Woodlore, so I'm getting 350 defensive ability. So right now I have really high defensive ability. Melee attackers aren't hardly hitting me. The trash mobs, it takes a whole pack of them to be hitting me to do any kind of damage at all. Herbal Remedy. Now it gives me some health regen, but I mostly want it for that poison resist. So it's 80% poison resistance. So that means that's like 1 less stat I gotta look for on an item. So just for that alone, it's worth it. I started using Monster Lure. So before I had Warhorn for the stun, and mostly I like that to keep things from running away. But it had kind of a long cooldown, so you couldn't use it nearly as often as you would like. So the Monster Lure will attract archers or some things, so you don't have to worry about them running. And the nice thing about Monster Lure also is it'll work on bosses, whereas you're not going to stun a major boss. So even like Barmanu, some other bosses, you throw that down and they're going to chase after that and give you some free hits. Sometimes you can get them killed before they even realize they're attacking the wrong thing. You really don't need to have Detonate. You're not counting on any damage from it. You're going to kill most everything before this gets broken down anyways. So that's where I am on skill points. As far as attribute, I'm still running just 1-to-1, and now I'm almost even on my strength and dexterity. Damage per second is pretty good. We're going to go over that a little bit more in a minute. Defensive ability is great, 981. Now, offensive ability looks low, and maybe it is a little low for Epic, but because of all the abilities I have that lower the monster's defensive ability, it ends up being kind of high, because I'm going to be doing a lot of critical hits because of the lower defensive ability on the monsters. So for damage, that 1104, you can get a lot of good short-term damage boosts. That's one of the things that makes this such a great boss killer, between being able to lower their resistances and being able to boost your damage short-term, long enough to get a boss killed. So you got your Ancestral Warriors. They put out some pretty good damage. But right here, Art of the Hunt. So when that's on, I go to 1727. And then throw out a Battle Standard. And look, all of a sudden, I'm almost double where I was. So, we're still in Epic. There's going to be a lot better gear to come. So this damage will be a lot higher in Legendary. And I am a self-farmed build here, so I've just been taking what I can get. And I'll go over some of the stuff I have. I did get a pretty decent Legendary Spear. But the problem with this is it's really slow. My attack speed, now that all the buffs fell off, is 106%. Now, with my old spear, I had a Trapper Spear with 161% attack speed. See, I was only a couple hundred difference on the DPS, but eventually you can probably find a fast Legendary Spear, and that'll really boost your damage. So I'm wearing this Apple Bearer's Ball because it has the skills, 1 to Warfare, 1 to Hunting. The armor is really low. This is lower than I would like to have on Epic, but because my defensive ability is so high that melee attackers are hardly doing any damage to me, even with the low armor. So I'm not concerned about that right now. Maybe in Act 4 I'll try to find something better. I have this Legendary Pan's Headdress, and it's decent, although it would be better for maybe some different classes. It's really designed for a nature build. But there's some things on there. The dexterity is nice, the elemental resistance, and of course the dodge attacks. So between that, 10% dodge attacks, and 25, so I'm at like 35% dodge attacks. So this is a very defensive, very good survivability build right now. Let me get back to some of the other gear. The shield is pretty good. Shield of the Corbantes, or however you pronounce it, is decent. It's really the only legendary shield I've found so far, so I equipped it. As an alternate shield, I have this for the vitality resistance, because without it I'm minus 40, I have nothing. So with this, I am at least in positive numbers. For rings, I did find a handful of legendary rings. I have Ring of Gaia, and again, not the best for this build, but I'm taking it mostly for the health and energy regen, because I am running into some energy problems. And I did put 2 points into energy. You get 40 energy per point now in the Anniversary Edition, so I think it's worth it for some builds that don't get any energy from their trees. See, there's strength, dexterity, and health, no energy. Both trees are like that. So unless you're a caster, you're not getting any extra energy. So I wanted to get some Epic Stonebinder's cuffs, and I farmed them a lot longer than I wanted to, several hours. And finally, some Sentinel's armbands dropped, so I took them and figured good enough. And they have +2 skills in hunting, plus they have pierce damage, so they're actually really nice. Although I would have preferred the Stonebinders. For legs, I got some Hunter's Greaves, and these really aren't that great. It's the helm that is the star of that set, with the high piercing damage and minus recharge. So for some extra +2 skills to warfare, I got this Warlord's Charm of Clout that also has strength on it, plus the 2 to warfare. I need energy regen, so I put on a Hecate's Crescent. I'm really going to need at least 1 Hecate's Crescent on something, so I got to keep like 1 green item for it. And I was able to make a Kingslayer around the end of Act 2, and that has 1 to skills in warfare also. Pretty nice. It's a greater artifact. So that's where I am. I'm still running 0 deaths, and one way you know that your build is really coming together is the game seems to get easier. So I'm in Epic, it's supposed to be getting harder. I think I'm having an easier time right now in Epic than I did in normal. So that's one way to know, things are going right. So right now I just got to the Jade Palace portal. So let's head back over there and we'll go do the Dragon Lich. I haven't encountered him yet on this playthrough. I reloaded the game, so everything did respawn here, but all I did was I ran down the edge of the path over here and I skipped everything over by the cave. I want to do a... I'm going to get away from that. I want to do a Warwind attack here in a minute, but I'm not going to do it on these. There is a problem occasionally with Warwind where you can be surrounded by monsters and hit it, it'll go off, but it doesn't hit any of them, so it's bugged or something. A similar thing can happen with Takedown. If I get surrounded by something, let me see if I can get these Dragonians. Now you see, they're starting to take me down, but it's slow considering all those things beating on me. They're pretty strong monsters. And that time Takedown wasn't all, Warwind wasn't all as effective as I would have liked. But on some things it'll just send them flying. Well, at least it's killing half of them. On, mobs that aren't quite as strong, it'll kill them all in one shot. I want to kill that thing first. That casters can be a problem. Alright, let's see if we can get over to Dragon Lich. Now one thing that can get a little annoying at times is when you are killing one thing at a time and they're spread out like this and you have to keep running around, chasing them down, hit them one at a time. That can get a little tedious sometimes. But there's a lot of areas of the game where that won't happen. And Monster Lure, that can be used also to like gather things up in a spot. It's not the most reliable thing, but when it does work, it's really nice. I got slowed a little bit by something there. I don't know if it was the ice shards or something to poison. So a lot of times I just run into the pack. See, that time it worked great. I put on the Study Prey. You're not going to probably kill them all if you don't have Study Prey on first. See, these guys aren't going to bunch up for me because they're archers. I just leveled up, level 50. I didn't come to this cave yet, so here we go. I didn't do this quest. So now I got it. Wow. Usually you don't get anything out of there. I can't believe there was 4 green items. Not that they're really anything special, but, they're worth some money at the vendor. So we're going to try to use the monster lure on the Dragon Lich and see if he'll go after it. Meanwhile, I can get all my stuff in order. I'll get the Ancestor Warriors, get my buffs up. I want some room to where I put it down here. Alright, he's after it. Then I'll drop a Battle Standard. See, he never even turned my way. I got to kill him basically for free. He was too busy focused on that. And that thing can take a lot of damage. So that's pretty nice. Really helps for killing bosses, anything strong. I only get the one green out of here. Alright, I think that's going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to have another update before Legendary. I'm not sure yet. I might do something in Act 4. Or I might just wait until I get to Legendary. Because I'm already level 50. There's not going to be that many changes other than some gear, you know, before Legendary anyways. So, you know, if you guys are playing a Slayer build, you know, let me know how it's working out for you and what kind of gear you're using. So anyways, I'm going to have a Corsair build coming up soon too. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.